Yes, come right in.
Mr. Yarzab, is that you?
Oh, yes. It's nice to finally meet you after talking on the phone so many times.
Nice to meet you too, sir. I know it's somewhat late, but congratulations on the Phillies' victory.
You know, I've lived in this city for 20 years, and I absolutely hate that team.
To be honest, sir, I hate them too. I hate them a lot. What's your team?
I'm a Mets fan, honestly.
This far deep in enemy territory?
Without our loyalties, we are nothing.
No, I completely agree. Keep up the good fight, sir.
I will. So what do you have for me today?
I'm here to talk to you about NetSuite CRM Plus. Before we begin, I wanted to ask you, is there anyone else that would be integral to the decision-making process?
I would be the one deciding whether to purchase your product, but I will absolutely let my superiors know if we purchase a new product. And if it ends up being a waste of company resources, then I will look bad in front of them. I don't want that.
No, I don't want it either, sir. And I think that after seeing what NetSuite CRM Plus software offers, you'll agree that it is far from a waste. Is there anything else important I should know before we begin?
I was actually in sales when I started at this company, so I'm not going to try and block you. I understand you're trying to help us because you think we should do business, so I'm going into this with an open mind.
Well, thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate you saying that. And yes, trying to help both our companies is exactly what I'm trying to do here. Now, what I want to do today is ask you a few questions regarding your company to see how I can better serve your company. From there, we'll move on to discussing what exactly NetSuite CRM Plus can do for you. If you have any questions at any point, please feel free to interrupt me and ask them. Does that sound good to you?
It sounds great. Ask away.
And I just want to double check with you. It's okay if I ask questions regarding your company's sales force and any possible income they make?
Normally this information I wouldn't share, but because you asked permission and because this is a Salesforce software, I will share it. Just don't go off and tell the press, okay?
No, don't worry about that. But how about if I take notes? Well, that wouldn't be distracting to you, would it?
Go right ahead. I may take some notes myself.
Well, first off, does your company use any customer relationship software?
Well, our Salesforce uses Microsoft Office to store customer data. You know, Excel and Word. It's pretty basic, but we have it all set up in alphabetical folders, so it's easy to find whatever the company may need information on.
Is there any specific reason why you don't have a CRM program to help with your sales?
Well, we used to have Microsoft CRM, but it was a free trial kind of thing that expired after 90 days. I just don't see the need for paying for CRM software when we can use Office for free.
Did your salespeople like using Microsoft CRM?
They thought it made their job easier, yeah. But the full cost was just too much at the time. We don't have the resources to make the purchase. That was about 5 years ago.
Do any of your salespeople ever talk about Microsoft CRM?
Oh, well, those who still work here when we had it do mention it every now and then. They definitely thought it made their jobs much easier than using Excel and Word.
What do they think of Microsoft Office, which is what you use now?
We have a pretty good setup despite it being such a basic program.
Did you ever run into any problems with Office?
Well, we recently switched to Windows Vista and have been having a lot of problems with Microsoft Office crashing. A lot.
Oh, well, so how often do you mean when you say a lot?
I would say, on average, once per day, per salesperson, of which I have 20. My IT department is going insane, especially since there are only 2 of them. It seems like none of my sales force has the capacity to solve the problem on their own, and they always require help from IT, even when it's the same problem over and over again. Then they get upset about having lost their data and try to get IT to recover it, something that's impossible to do. A few are starting to realize that, but it seems like the majority never learn.
About how much time would you say you lost per day as a result of this crashes and the following hubbub with IT?
I'd say around 15 minutes per problem, and with a sales force of 20, that adds up to around...
I would say 5 hours per day. Would you say that time could be used making sales calls?
Oh, definitely. My people are literally overwhelmed by the amount of calls they could be making. The economy may be in trouble, but our business is not.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. On average, what is the margin for every sale made by your sales force?
About $500.
And how long does each sales call usually take?
About an hour.
So if your company could get around this crash problem, you would probably be making about 25 more sales calls per week.
Yeah, I suppose that is correct.
And with a margin of $500 per sale, that would be around $12,500 per week, assuming each sales call went successfully.
Yeah, I guess it would be about that much.
Well, I understand your company is doing well, but if things continue to, if your company continues to lose this possible business, do you think competitors will take advantage of your absence and, nab those prospects?
They probably would.
What if I could offer you a program that would have all the things you'd like to about Microsoft CRM with much more and a guarantee to never crash?
I would be very interested in hearing more about the program.
Well, I'm happy to hear that, but I do have actually a few more questions for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go right ahead.
What is the layout of your office?
The layout? Like, what do you mean?
Well, the layout. Do you have cubicles, or does each salesperson have an office, or...
Oh, each salesperson has their own office.
Oh, that's very nice. How do you communicate to your salespeople?
We use telephones. Everyone has an extension.
Does it ever take a long time for you to get the message across to all your people using telephones?
Well, if everyone needs to know something, we'll email it to everyone.
Oh, well, do your salespeople check their emails constantly?
Well, some do. Most don't.
Yeah. Okay, now you said you worked in sales before, right?
Yep, 4 years making calls.
4 years, that's great. I mean, this is only my second year.
Oh, well, keep at it. Time seems to fly by.
I'll bet. Speaking of sales calls, though, were you ever out on a call and you find that maybe you forgot some seemingly meaningless bit of information about a prospect that ended up being crucial?
Yeah, it usually was solved by a frantic call back to the home office, asking one of my coworkers for help.
What if I told you I could solve that problem, getting rid of that feeling of dread that, arises in that sort of situation with our program?
I'd say it sounds like you've got way more than a computer program there.
Well, now from what I've garnered, your biggest if you let me, I'd like to tell you about NetSuite CRM Plus, which is the program I was referring to. Would you like to learn more about it?
Yes, I certainly would.
Okay, now from what I've garnered, your biggest problem is crashing and loss of time as a result of that. But with NetSuite, you never have to worry about crashing because it's completely web-based.
Oh, what does that mean?
It means that all the information regarding your customers and such is stored online. So if a computer does crash, it's all saved there, and not your specific computer. We know that downtime is not an option in your business. This is one reason that we guarantee 99.5% uptime as part of our standard terms of service.
Well, that's pretty great, but what exactly does NetSuite do?
That's an excellent question. What NetSuite CRM Plus does is deliver in regards to customer relationship management capabilities. It offers features including Salesforce automation, marketing automation, customer support, and service. You understand that these days in sales, the most important thing is building and keeping relationships with your clients, and NetSuite helps you do exactly that.
Well, that is true. I imagine it is like Microsoft CRM in terms of what it does, right?
Well, for the most part, there are many similarities between the two programs, but there are also a lot of things that show why NetSuite is the best software out there. Before, we talked about the difficulty communicating to all your salespeople at once. That problem is solved with one of our most unique features, the real-time dashboard. It allows all your workers to instantly access all your company's business intelligence, from accounting and sales to fulfillment and support. Does that sound helpful to you?
Yes, it does. All my Salesforce would know about any important information that came up.
Exactly. Now, the real-time dashboard is there, so all of your employees are informed of the goings-on. You can update it at any time, and it will update on their computers as well, saving everyone a lot of time.